how can Kronos solve this problem that exists in our field, where it's very clear that musicians are having a tough time locating our music.
The Kronos Quartet is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and happy anniversary Kronos Quartet. It's amazing.
Yeah. And if they can find it in a library or from a publisher, sometimes it's the materials are not, they're expensive, or maybe they're not complete.
To hear a piece performed by the Kronos and be like, oh, I really want to play that.
We play so many concerts all throughout the world, and people would come up to us after the concert and say, oh, I love that piece that was on the program. Can I get it? And you know, a lot of that music was just not available.
And finally, we decided we're going to solve this somehow.
The 50 for the Future project is a beautiful, selfless act on the part of the Kronos Quartet.
And so that's how we decided to pursue these 50 composers from all around the world and have them develop their scores and give us these pieces that we love to play.
And having their materials available, free of charge, at any time of the day or night from any place in the world, that's when that came into focus.
The beautiful part about string quartet is that there are so many string quartets around the world. The chance of a string quartet getting played is so much higher than like a piano trio or a wind quintet.
We commission composers. So basically, the pieces that we've commissioned are ours, and we publish them outright, and we put them online for free.
On an absolutely magnificent website. It really is a shining example of what a website with music and recordings and text and just the design is fantastic. So I mean, it's a treasure trove and a library of quartet music and different styles from across the world. And it's just fantastic to have that online.
They say, we're going to learn these pieces right alongside you and give everybody the chance to get to know this music all at the same time, which is so cool. It speaks to the generosity of the Kronos.
If you listen to all these 50 pieces, then you realize that there are so many different approaches to music, to how to express oneself, where to get inspiration from. It's also very nice that some of the composers use the influences of the place where they grew up, of their own cultural background in their music. It's such a rich phenomenon, all these pieces together in one place.
Let's say you're looking for Jay Lynn's Little Black Book. You go to their website, you go to the 50 for the Future page, and then you have to go through 49 other pieces to find Jay Lynn's piece, potentially. And so you're instantly becoming aware. You're whatever 50 times, quintuple, it's like quindecutuple times more aware of new music just by going to that website.
Well, I think I've gone into that rabbit hole, going to the site for something specific, and then gone on a tangent, listening to all sorts of other music that's there.
It is helping so many people. It's hard for a piece to have a life after its initial premiere, and in making these pieces open and available, these pieces will hopefully have a life far beyond their premiere.
This is also a luxury that we can work with the composers themselves, and whenever we don't understand something,
the technique or something that's in the score,
because there are definitely many new elements in some of the pieces.
They said if a ukulele orchestra wants to play it in a different part of the world, would they be able to? So that was another thing, just thinking of a piece that was fluid and that was flexible and malleable so that it could take different forms and would still feel like the piece.
Just browsing the works, it seems like Kronos has been in touch with a lot of the composers about the purpose of the works being very forward-looking, the spirit of the works being to educate the next generation of quartets and give them things to experiment with or explore.
The opportunity to kind of give a piece of music that many young string quartets could play, while also thinking about building mechanisms that Kronos themselves could sound really beautiful doing and make amazing music out of.
I always tell younger groups, you know, if you get involved with all 50, your vocabulary, your musical vocabulary is going to expand like you wouldn't believe. And that's what music is about. The more pieces that you have in your blood and in your fingers, vocabulary grows, and the more you can interpret in a more kind of profound way.
The composers that we're going to be able to work with they're global, and all different styles of music, from avant-garde jazz to African music to techno with Jalen. And it's a joy for us really to delve into these pieces and bringing all that to the world of the string quartet.
In going around the country and also abroad, we've coached people, young groups, older groups, as professional and students, and we found people have the music, they understand it. And so it's a complete difference from what was before 50 for the Future. And I find it a gift to the community to further string quartet music.
The great thing is that it's in a way open source.
Yeah.
They have the music available and they invite everybody to simply play the music. I think people don't realize that this actually makes a big difference. That you as a normal person, you go on a website, you download music and you play it, and you are actually asked to do it, encouraged to do so.
I think with creating open source resources in general, I believe really heavily in it. I think contemporary music and classical music in general has a kind of high price point for entry, where often things like the purchasing of scores, the maintenance of instruments, even the purchasing of instruments are things that are kind of not accessible to folks who are living paycheck to paycheck or trying to support just the basic needs of their family.
I guess you could say that 50 for the Future represents the state of the music that is written for string quartet at this moment in time. And for this reason, it's super valuable. And I hope that this website will continue to exist for at least another 50 years, because who knows what the world will look like then in terms of the string quartet.
It's so well done in that you can research for things in a very specific way. It's great resource for not only string players, but for composers or just people that are interested in music in general. I've discovered a lot of really cool composers through 50 for the Future that I didn't know about before, that I'm now a fan of, and that I've now looked for their music.
It's just the idea of legacy and the idea of tradition within new music, I think, is super interesting, and it's a great project for them to complete at this point. And it's so cool to be a part of it. You know, we used to listen to the Kronos Quartet and watch videos of them with all the lights and doing new music, and I was just listening to some stuff with Stephen Mackey with electric guitar, and we've looked up to them for so long, and it's really nice to kind of like walk in those shoes for a second.
What'd he say?
The composer's voice, you know, if that person sings to us or plays their instrument for us, we've benefited from having this information, this sound, this sense of the person.
But it'd also be annoying if Beethoven didn't like our ideas. It's kind of nice that we don't have to.
I feel like he might not like our ideas.
I think we'd probably annoy him a little bit.